When we are developing features, photo essays and human interest stories, it's very important that we make sense to our readers and viewers. To be able to convey an idea or a story, we have discussed how mind mapping can help us to think about our idea and develop it into a form of a full-fledged story. Now, what can help us next is clubbing and grouping, which is nothing but seeing what themes or topics our stories tell and organizing it into a coherent whole. The photo story can be organized based on a topic, on a theme, or it can be done based on a region. Essentially, it is the subject that's important, and we need to think through it and organize it to make sense. We are going to learn about this by looking at the CGIAR dryland systems research done and look at the various photo stories that have come out of this research program and the documentation and how it has been clubbed and grouped in different ways. So let's look at different examples of organizing our photographs to convey a story and idea to our viewers. The CGIAR research program on dryland systems covers many issues. The first one we look at is gender and inclusive growth. As we can see in these pictures, they have been clubbed and grouped together to focus on the topic of gender and inclusive growth. Focus on women is very important, and their research programs specifically target their interventions towards vulnerable groups such as women and young people in order to strengthen social equity through improved formal and informal institutions. The pictures that you see aim to depict and portray how gender and inclusive growth is possible in the areas where the CGIAR program is actively researching. These pictures tell a story about women across different continents, from North Africa to West Asia to South Asia and Southeast Asia, telling their stories through the photographs. Now let's look at a collection of images from the CGIAR research centers and research programs on the theme of climate smart agriculture. The CGIAR research program on dryland systems is working to mitigate land and resource degradation that affects the lives of millions of people living rurally in these areas. The photographs that you see show how farmers are using climate smart agriculture to mitigate these problems. By putting all these photographs together in one set, we can communicate to the readers and viewers on this particular topic on climate smart agriculture. These photographs show different people from different regions of the world farming various kinds of products, but what unites them is the theme and the topic of climate smart agriculture. The next collection of images that we see from the CGIAR research program is on agricultural systems. These particular photographs have been clubbed together to convey the work and the research in the area of agricultural systems. Please remember that these pictures are a part of the documentation of the research centers and the research activities which are meant to strengthen the interventions in these dryland systems. How these photographs tell stories of people reviving the agricultural systems is done through putting them together in one place so that we know that this is the topic that this photo story focuses on. This collection of images from the CGIAR in Southeast Asia region takes the region as its theme. The photographs are clubbed and grouped together to represent images from this region of Southeast Asia, and the work that the research program is doing using different system approaches that build on indigenous coping and adaptation strategies to achieve enhanced, resilient and sustainable intensification in dryland farming systems. Through these array of pictures, clubbed and grouped together, they convey the interventions that are happening in the Southeast Asia region. So the theme can be a person, it can be an event, and it can be a region. We have to decide how we want to organize our photographs together. In this, we see pictures on the apple farms of Morocco, and we see the work, the research that has been done on the different types of dryland agricultural systems in the region, such as irrigated, pastoral, and agropastoral, and the different agricultural practices applied by different people to improve agricultural production. This particular section is on cactus crop, and we can see images of farmers embracing cactus as a multi-purpose income generating crop to reduce risks associated with climate change. This section on the Uzbekistan rangeland pasture and tenure shows a systems approach for inclusive rangeland tenure practices in Uzbekistan. These pictures convey that a systemic approach to rangeland tenure and inclusive rangeland management plans adapted to local conditions are required to properly address land degradation and loss of income for rural dryland communities in Uzbekistan. The rangelands in Central Asia are the largest continuous area of grazed land in the world. They are a critical resource of livelihood for pastoral and agropastoral communities and play an important role in absorbing carbon, which is key to reducing the climate change negative effects. This section that we see now is on improving livelihoods in marginal drylands. The photographs that we see in this section show the CGI research program on dryland systems and its interventions in creating livelihoods for people in rural households and communities in areas where water scarcity, land degradation, water quality deterioration, food security and health problems are prevalent. In these vast regions, frequent droughts, depleted soils, and increasing use of marginal lands, along with weak policies and institutions, extreme poverty, and a growing population have led to degradation of land and resources. Rural livelihoods are under constant threat of famine as rangelands and forests shrink. These pictures have been put together to convey this theme and this topic of improving livelihoods. Outcome stories. These photographs are organized and grouped together to represent the outcome stories from the various interventions made through the CGI research program on dryland systems. As we can see through these pictures, the outcomes that are shown and represented address issues of gender inequality and promoting opportunities for young people in agriculture. The outcomes that the dryland systems seeks to achieve include better food and nutrition security and health, better policies and institutions, better prepared for climate change, less poverty, more empowered women and youth, more sustainable natural resources and ecosystems, and strengthened capacity. Through these various pictures, we can see that how the outcome stories are represented. And this is how, through clubbing and grouping, we can tell our stories in a very cohesive manner. In this video, we have seen how in one project by the CJR on the dryland systems, there are ways and ways of documenting the stories and organizing them together under various themes and topics. Similarly, when we take up our work in photography, and especially when we do photo essays, features and human interest stories, it makes for very good communication when we can use a theme or a topic to organize our photographs together. So think about the projects that you're doing and see how you can bring them out united together under a theme or a topic, which could be anything that you want to communicate. In the next video, we're going to conclude our lesson and we're going to look at some more photo stories to understand these concepts better.